Hello and welcome. My name is Philip Hatter and I'm the Director of Coffee and Training for Vienna Coffee Company. We know that you have a lot of time on your hands these days in these crazy times. And so what we want to do is give you the tools to be able to brew really great coffee at home since you can't be in our cafe with us. Last time we talked about the French press. This week we're going to talk about the Chemex. The Chemex is a fantastic brewing device and I think makes a delicious cup of coffee. If you're thinking of all coffee brewers on sort of a spectrum, French press and Chemex are going to be on opposite ends. Whereas with the French press we had that really rich cup of coffee, the Chemex gives you a really clean, almost wine-like cup of coffee. And that's because of its proprietary filter. This filter is really thick, and so what it does is it pulls a lot of those oils out of the coffee, leaving the really clean cup behind. So when it comes to brewing with a Chemex, you could simply put some coffee in, pour some hot water over, but come on now, we're after a really great cup of coffee. And so we're gonna pay attention to some details today. This is a little bit more complex than our French press, so pay careful attention. First, we're going to need a Chemex and filters. Next, we need ideally a kitchen scale of some kind that measures or weighs in grams. This one also has a built-in timer, which is super helpful. You need some ground coffee. This coffee is ground fairly coarse. I don't think you can see that, but imagine kosher salt, that kind of a coarseness. And then of course we need our hot water. And so your water temperature range is typically between 195 and 205 for coffee. We want to start on the high end of that for this brew because it's going to cool down during the brewing process. So 205 is great to get started with the Chemex. So here's what we're going to do. First things first, we're going to take this filter and we're going to open it up. It's this folded piece of paper and we want to open it in such a way that 3 folds are on one side and 1 fold is on the other. This then sits down in the Chemex with the 3 folds to the front. This is just to prevent the filter from collapsing into this air channel while we're brewing. So we have our filter. First thing we want to do is take our hot water and rinse this filter really carefully. This is going to do 2 things for us. It's going to, first of all, rinse any paper taste from the filter itself. Secondly, because this is glass, it's going to preheat our brewing device so that as we're making our coffee, it stays nice and hot. We'll just dump this out. Now, the recipe that I'm using today is 40 grams of coffee to 640 grams or milliliters of brew water. It's essentially a 1:16 ratio. This is going to make you 2 really good sized cups of coffee, or if you really need the caffeine, you can just have it all yourself. So first things first, drop the coffee in. We're gonna settle it, get it nice and flat. But because we have this kind of deep pointed filter, what we wanna do is go in with I'm using a wooden spoon, and just spinning down and making essentially a nest-like shape. I don't know if you can see that, but sort of a nest shape so that we can get the water down into those coffee grounds on our bloom. And if you remember from last time, the first thing we want to do is pour water onto our coffee and let the CO2 escape for about 30 seconds. So we're going to take our hot water, we're going to start our timer, and go ahead and pour about 80 grams of water over our coffee, fully saturating all of the grounds. I'm going to give it just a little bit of a spin there, make sure that everything's nice and wet. This is going to go for 30 seconds. At the end of 30 seconds, we're going to begin pouring. So, our first pour, we're going to make slow circles. Don't pour right down into the middle and don't pour it on the edges. Just keep it right in the middle, slow circles to 300 grams for our first pour. We're going to let that drain down slightly. Don't let it go all the way dry or we'll lose a lot of the temperature. But we're going to go back in and fill it up. We'll do this a few times, and this is called pulse brewing. This gives us a really nice extraction on that coffee bed. It's drained down slightly. I'm going to come back in with my hot water and pour to 500 grams. Again, letting it drain down slightly. This coffee smells amazing. I'm going to talk to you about what we're brewing in just a moment. This is new coffee from our Foothills series from Uganda. We have 2 coffees. This is the natural that I'm brewing today, and there's all kinds of amazing blueberry smells coming off of this coffee. Last pour, we're going to come in and we're going to pour to 640 grams. Be as precise as you can be. All right. Now, grab the Chemex and just give it a gentle swirl like this. What that's doing is it's grabbing all of those grinds from the wall and bringing them down into that coffee slurry. Ideally, what we want to happen is as this drains down, we want to see a nice flat bed at the end. What that lets us know is that we got a great extraction on the coffee. So this is going to continue to drain out. And I want to talk to you just briefly about our Ugandan coffees. So these are the 2 newest coffees to our Foothills series, and this is directly from Gorilla Summit in Uganda. And so we have this same coffee, which is processed 2 different ways. We have the washed and we have the natural. And the washed has tasting notes of black currant, butterscotch, and brown sugar. Really good coffee. The natural has got notes of blueberry, honey, and milk chocolate. This is my favorite of the 2. However, this coffee is also fantastic. What we want is you to be able to try both of these coffees. The difference that you're getting from them is a difference in processing only. So really encourage you to try this coffee out. You can purchase it online from our website, viennacoffeecompany.com. You can also pick it up through our drive-thru. We do have it stocked on the shelves, so love to have you try that. Our coffee has brewed. We have a nice flat bed of coffee in the filter, so we'll just get this out of the way. And we'll give the coffee a nice swirl. This aerates the coffee, mixes it together nicely, and we'll taste it. All right. Smells amazing. Let's see what it's like. Oh, it's a fantastic coffee. I really want you to try it. The Chemex, fantastic brewing device. If you don't have one, we do sell these on our website as well, viennacoffeecompany.com. We have them in our store as well. So if you're coming through drive-thru and you want to pick up a new brewing device, let us know and we're happy to get you one. So enjoy your time. Thank you again for your continued support. We here at Vienna Coffee Company would not be anyone without you. And so we want to keep you supplied with great coffee during this time. So please let us know what you think of the Uganda. And we will talk to you all soon. Thanks.